All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are joined by head women's soccer coach Nikki Izzo-Brown this afternoon. Coach, if you just want to start us out with just a quick opening statement, previewing just Cincinnati this week, and then obviously opening up Big 12 conference play, then we can open it up to questions.
Yeah, excited to get going and heading to Cincinnati. It's been a while since the old Big East days, so it'll be nice for us to start that play. Both teams have the same record, so it should be a pretty good matchup as we head into that game.
All right. Just a reminder to use the raised hand feature when you're ready to ask a question. Kevin Redfern, you can start us off.
Hey, Nikki, just looking at the conference schedule, it looks like outside of the finale, it's split up into basically two road trips, two sets of long flights. Um, Different question, but do you have like a long flight routine? Are you a sleeper? Are you a reader? How do you handle the plane flights?
I'll be working. I'll be cutting down film. So if it's not a business day, I'll read, but I'm not a sleeper on a plane.
And is there pressure then when you've got a trip with two conference newcomers? Are you cramming then more so than usual in that plane preparation?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no commonality in knowing them, so we will definitely be looking at them a little bit more closely since we don't know tendencies and things like that. So I believe my staff will prepare for it with a little bit more, probably a little bit more prep time than normal.
Luke, you can go ahead.
All right, so looking, ahead to Big 12 play, earlier in the year, do you get a chance to how much do you look ahead to conference play during the non-conference play, if at all?
Yeah, I take it game by game, so I couldn't even tell you what's happening necessarily. I got to just worry about what we're doing. But I will tell you, my staff's doing a great job understanding and knowing what's going on. But I'm just preparing the girls and getting them focused on what's ahead.
Is there any extra preparation for the players when it comes to new players like Rest Pass in terms of just trying to help them prepare for what the Big 12 is and, just what it's like to play in that league?
Not necessarily. I think all leagues are kind of the same in a lot of ways. I mean, I think now with the landscape, we're and just the parity of all of them, you're going to see something, but maybe a little bit. But I would think it's more about the freshmen than the conference, and just the inexperience. But but again, it depends on the individual. Ajane doesn't need that. She's like, roll the ball out, let's play. But maybe there's another kid that would.
Kevin, you can go ahead.
Coach, how much different is it for a back line when they're rotating between goalkeepers? Obviously, there's a lot of communication going on there. Is there different styles to both of your keepers? And how much differently do those defenders just have to make a mental switch?
Yeah, it's probably a lot like a professor, right? You're going into class to class. They're gonna kind of command and teach differently. So I would imagine that there is we try to have the same cues and communication, throughout, but there'll be some difference of verbiage and tone that you just have to understand the message, maybe not the tone or different ways of communicating what the goalkeeper wants. So there's probably a little bit of both. Mhm.
Do Bailey and Mackenzie do they feel like different presences in the net in that way and how they lead a defense, or are they more similar based off kind of that streamlining that you talked about?
You're gonna have to ask them. That's a really good question. I mean, I think both of them are very different. I would be interested to hear what the team would say, but I think at the end of the day, the expectation is make the save you're supposed to make and come up with a big one. And however you do it, we'll adjust as a team.
Luke, you're up next.
Yeah, so 7 of your goals this season have been scored by Ajane and Taylor White. So what do both of them do so well up there attacking that allows them to have such production?
Yeah, they're both such a threat. I think from a defensive standpoint, they're going to create chances. Then, and an attacking standpoint, both of them have a really good understanding of being in the right spots at the right time. So I would think their positioning is really good. So you'll see that from both of them.
Kevin, you're up next.
Just good or bad? Any surprises so far through this first chunk of the season? Do you expect that production out of Ajane? Is there anything else that maybe the casual viewer might not have picked up on by now?
In terms of personality,
No, more like a production. This position group has overperformed. This one you're looking to see a little bit more out of, like something that maybe you didn't anticipate after watching that quick week-long training session.
yesterday's game, I'm sorry, like this past week.
No, the whole year
Oh, the whole year.
so
Okay.
far. My
Yes.
apologies, not being too
No,
concise on that one.
no. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that it's just the chemistry of the team, just how quickly can we pull it together? And as a coach, every year we want to pull it together really quick. And us losing, 3 pros last year, just how quickly can we make adjustments and see it kind of come together? So I would probably say every year I'll say the same thing to you. We just want to, fix all the kinks a little earlier, because I think, the little things have made the big things happen, letting goals in and then scoring goals. So we just got to take care of that a little bit more.
Luke, you can go ahead.
Does playing that higher level competition earlier in the season, like Penn State and Clemson, does that help you figure out kind of what needs to be corrected earlier to kind of take those steps forward?
Yeah, it's very important that we really see ourselves under that kind of pressure, that kind of athlete. So it's really important that not only do we see it, but we fix it. So we know we can speak to different moments in those games, moving into conference play and say, hey, look at this is what we have to do, and make sure that we are doing these things right. So I'm a firm believer in going out and playing a tough non-conference to prepare us for conference play.
All right. Any other questions for Coach? Sounds good. Thanks for joining us today, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.